Hello, my name is Ross Sly, and I was the lead tutor for the AATC for the academic year of 2017 to 2018, and I'm going to run this instructional video on how to fill out the online timesheet. Alright, so first things first, you need to put your first name, last name, pay period, end date, date submitted, student ID. These three boxes here are all validated, which means you need to put in an actual date here, and a 9-digit number here. Now we're going to move on to assignment boxes. So each of these boxes here counts as towards an assignment. So that means anytime it's a new 2T or a new program or new subject, that'd be a new assignment. So one difference between the paper timesheets and the online timesheets is that if you work multiple times on the same day for the same assignment, so you're working at the same program and same subject, you're going to have to fill out two boxes or multiple boxes. So I have an example right here. So AATC drop-in tutor who did Math 21 tutoring, 12 to 1 and 2 to 3. Okay, so now we'll go off the nuances of how to fill out the boxes. So first you need to select a program. So each of these program things are drop-down menus. So you need to select one program. If you select two programs, you will get an error. So you see there's an error there, so just delete that now. Get it here. Okay, delete that now. Alright, and you also need to select a program number, and a subject letter if applicable, and all of these are also drop-down menus. And for all the times, they're all drop-down menus, and you need to manually select the time. You can't just type it in. Whereas here, you can actually just type in Matt, and it works. And then, finally, you also need to put whether you prepped or not. If you don't select whether you're prepped or not, you'll get an error right here. Okay? And if you're doing individual tutoring, let's look at an example right here. You need to select the program you're working with. You need to write down the tutee's name. If you don't have a tutee's name in there, you'll get an error. Tutee. Same thing, programs, times, and clicking did you prep or not. Alright, so if you had any weird things about your week, like any notes you need, so you would fill out a note key down here. And what the note keys represent are all up here. So there's A, T, H, R, I, and N. So let's say on the week 1 of this shift, I was late to my shift, and on week 2, I didn't show up. I was sick. So I need to put an N here and a T there, and I need to explain what it is here. If I don't explain what didn't show up, I'll get an error that'll appear on the errors tab, which we'll go over a little bit later. Alright, so now let's go down here. If I wanted to choose other as one of the options here, you need to select other, and then you need to explain right here what the other meant. Otherwise, you'll get an error on the errors tab. Other than that, it's the same filling out as all the other explanations or all the other assignment boxes. Alright, we're going to move down to the bottom. Okay, we're going to look here, and we're going to look at prep hours. So I tutored Math 21, Chem 2, and Biz 2, it looks like. So I had a total of 3 prep hours per week, or 6 hours over the total 2-week period that I could claim maximum. So that means if any number right here that's between 0 and 6 is applicable, I just can't do above 6, otherwise I'll get an error. So I did 4. Alright. Down here, we're going to put whether we did any additional trainings. So this training here, I said I spent 45 minutes on, or 0.75, and it worked. If I tried to do 0.8, it wouldn't work, because you need to do everything in quarter-hour increments, so 0.75. Down here, for the online security risk prevention training, I also did 0.5. Let's take a note. If I get rid of the date, I will have an error that will appear on the errors page. So we'll look at that real quick, and you'll see there's an error right here. Alright, so let's put that time back in there. 5/29/2018. Alright, all the totals here, so the total hours, are all automatically calculated, so you don't need to fill them in. You just need to put in the hours you worked and the time frame. Alright, So finally, you need to, oops, all the way down here, you need to sign it and put your first and last name here, otherwise you'll get an error. And if you're ready to submit, you'll have a box up here. The box up here will say no errors. If there are any errors, let's make an error just so you can see what it looks like. We'll do a prep hour error. So one quick note is if I have this empty, I'll get an error, and we'll see why in a second. So you see here, this thing is red now and says see the errors tab. So let's click the errors tab and look for any errors. There's no errors in the title, no errors in the input boxes, no errors in the explanations or total hours or the trainings. But there is an error in my prep claiming. So it says no prep claimed. If you did none, please type in 0. So you would need to type in 0 down here, which you'll see. If you type in 0, this becomes green. So instead I'm going to do 4, because that's the prep I did. Okay, so now we're going to go to the errors tab and check that one more time. You see that there's no errors here. Many of these errors boxes have locations on them. That's the location of where the error occurs at, or would occur at. And the box errors don't actually have locations because they depend on multiple things in the assignment boxes. But in each assignment box, it'll have a little explanation here. It'll have a little error thing here, and you'll see what you had an error for. If you have everything filled out correctly, you should have no error. But if you're part of the way filling out this box, don't look at the errors until you've finished filling it out completely. And if there's any errors after that, then you actually do have an error. But if you're part way filling it out and it says error, don't worry about it until you finished filling out the box. Once this box is green up here, you're ready to turn it in. If it's ever red, then you cannot turn it in yet. You still have an error and you have to fix something. If you have any questions or issues, email the lead tutor email address to send them your inquiry. Thank you. Bye.